first thing I came across here was Patch My PC is doing a webinar on the new, putting on a webinar on the new Intune app inventory that was added a few weeks ago. It looks like it's going on June 24th. It's Ben and Rudy doing it, Ben Whitmore and Rudy Ohms. So I will listen to anything those guys have to say. It should be a fantastic webinar. Rudy also posted about, I just came across this today, but he posted a couple of days ago, around a specific error where Company Portal was not installing during Autopilot enrollment. So I think he had found this error, and pretty sure he had a workaround or a fix here at the end. Yep. And so if you come across this specific error in Autopilot with Company Portal not installing, here you go. Yet again, Rudy's your guy. He's got some information for you. Another webinar actually going on tomorrow from our friends over at Two Pine, both Andreas and Matthias, putting on a webinar on the latest recommendations for leveraging delivery optimization in Intune, which is awesome. I mean, delivery optimization hasn't changed a ton, but in the last few years, I feel like, but there have been some the things that have changed have been pretty major. Actually, we had a question earlier today, Johan, that while you were on your unexpected break, forced coffee break earlier, was around Teams and delivery optimization. Is that implemented yet or still coming very soon?
I don't know if it actually went live. It was supposed to go live before the end of June here. I know Microsoft was testing it internally, and it does require that you set up HTTPS on your cache server, which you should be doing anyway. Otherwise, you won't get updates soon through cache servers. I actually had a friendly reminder about that. Was it last office hours? Niehaus tweeted about it.
Yeah, I think so.
And I just saw a recent one from Martin as well. I'll change it or show it when it's my turn.
Sounds good. And was that just the standalone or ConfigMgr as well?
There will be an update for ConfigMgr as well. Yes, I haven't seen one, but the standalone one is right there available.
Right. Sounds good. We'll see that here shortly then. Last but not least, this was like super recent. I came across this post on Reddit. Johan, you haven't even seen this yet. But the post was around, it's a browser-based CMTrace. And I first saw it, and I have to admit, I went, come on, browser-based CMTrace. Surely it can't be just like CMTrace. Well, when you go to cmtrace.dev, you can see you've got it here, pretty straightforward. Upload your log file. To be clear, I have no idea if this actually uploads to somewhere or it does all of this in browser. I have it literally, I freshly found this. So use at your own risk, but Andrew has a lab and a log file that he's willing to upload. So I went to upload my log file. I just picked the CAS log from a client that I had because it was 3.5 megs. So I wanted to pick a large log, see how it performed. Look at that. That's CMTrace. It's pretty darn cool.
It is. I'm like you. I'm a little bit nervous uploading stuff. I mean, from a lab, it's no big difference, big deal. But production data, that was that incident? Yes, might have been this week.
I think
you mentioned there was a JSON formatter that people have been using for quite some time, posting everything in it.
Yeah, and of course, if you're posting JSON in there, it's probably got tokens and things like that you don't want out there.
And somebody scraped it for the last 7 years. Yeah. I am not saying that this platform does this. It's just one of those, need to know a bit more about the implementation before starting to upload like production logs to it.
Exactly. But the nerd in me is like, this is awesome.
This is awesome.
So
The inner geek have spoken. Yeah.
exactly. So those were the things that I came across this week.
All right then. Let's see. I'm gonna steal the screen here in just a moment. And I find it, I will share it. That looks like my screen, and I will be removing yours. There we go. So this one I stumbled across, Merrill, who recently left Microsoft to start a new journey. He is teaming up with Uber, and in a couple of days, they'll be live streaming on how to use AI for M365. English, good Lord. I was trying to mix Swedish and English in one go there. M365 Admins. So looking forward to that one. Don't remember exactly when it started, but it's right here. And if I click this link, it should give me a little countdown. 35 hours from now, whatever that will be. So would recommend. June 12 at 4. It's set. So good stuff.
Awesome.
Then, as I mentioned earlier, Martin basically reshared the same information that Nihal shared the other week. Just a friendly reminder, make sure to upload or configure your cache server for HTTPS, or you will find that some content may not appear the way you want it to appear. So friendly tip there. Also, Martin from Denmark, Martin Bengtsson, on the emap.dk website, reminded us that starting July 1st, we will have access to Intune Suite if you have any of the shinier versions, the suite licenses from Microsoft. So if you get E3, or you, for example, you get remote help, and if you have the E5, you get all of it, including Cloud PKI and other fun things, advanced analytics, and the good stuff. But he also shared that he has a couple of scripts that allow you to be configure this for RBAC. So just wanted to share that one out there. Let's see. Then Praval shared there is a new update for ConfigMgr with updates for Cloud Management Gateway. So make sure you have that one if you're affected by those scenarios. And finally, of course, we had from Mr. Mike Terrell here a note from June 4, so the day after our last office hours, but just a friendly reminder that 2409 is now offline. For those who have the ConfigMgr console open, you have seen it because it will give you that yellow banner with an angry text that says you're out of support, better upgrade. So yes, better upgrade. And then another thing I stumbled across, because obviously the catalog update site is here and there. You download updates from it. It was down for a good few hours for me yesterday, but eventually became available. But anyway, the reason I wanted it, because I was updating one of my VMs, this one here, that I'm going to power on. So it may have the 2604 in the name here, but that was the ISO I built it from at one point. But I did apply the June 2026 update. I revoked the 2011 CA or certificate, and I enforced the SVN number on that machine. So this one is now on SVN 9, which is new for the June update. So if I open up a healthy dose of PowerShell here, somewhat healthy dose of PowerShell, and run the native secure boot SVN command, it will tell me that, yeah, version 9 all across the board. And that means if I try to boot an older boot image, it will fail. So as usual, I went about to patch my boot image. I have a PowerShell script I released a couple of weeks back that will happily do that. And so it did, except when I ran the update, it decided that this file should no longer be there. Instead of patching this file, it deleted it. And that's the one that you use as a boot manager for ISO files. So hopefully I'll be able to figure out the workaround, but right now I cannot boot this virtual machine on an ISO. Pixie boot all day long, USB, but not ISO. That's an interesting twist. I think someone fat-fingered something.
I'd say so.
Yeah. So anywho, that was my little rant on that. I should probably mention also that the update got like 600 meg larger than last month. So now it's up for a solid 5-point-something gig here. They are not tiny.
No, I'm reminded of, years back when we got 20 gig hard drives and people said, oh, you'll never fill those. No, we're going to fill a quarter of it with just the Windows installer now.
Indeed. While we're waiting for some Q&A here, that script that I mentioned that is no longer happy with the Unit 26 patch was this one here that you use. So it worked until last month, but this month the patch decided to delete the file when ran. So fun stuff.